All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the Starfish Empire Fantasy Football Podcast, where we're going to go over this league full of assholes and figure out what the hell's going on with the season. What's the first item on the docket, everybody? What do we got here? What was the
first item is all y'all are losers.
Okay,
We're supposed
you
to
know
have
what?
written down.
I really wish anybody else would have won first week because we're not going to not hear about Dennis winning.
Well, I mean, after what you made on the first podcast about somebody having the best draft and just throughout the entire podcast, I mean, why not?
I mean, it came down to 2 points, so...
Hey, 2 points is 2 points.
I'm not
2
exactly
points
within
the 2
here,
minute,
you know what I mean?
2 minute warning. So
It's okay. A win is a win, no matter how you get there.
All right, so general news, I guess, inside or of what happened Sunday. A lot of big games, a lot of fireworks, especially down in Miami. So this weekend we had Dennis and Ryan both go down to the game, and some shit went down. You guys want to?
Yeah, man, it was a good game. It really, really was. We had good seats. We were like 30-yard line, 13th row, home side, and yeah, I mean the Dolphins showed up, and I mean they didn't look like everything was on the right page, but I mean offense was moving, defense was killing the Patriots. Like it was legit.
Well,
So.
for fireworks, I meant more the whole stadium.
Oh, yeah.
dying. and
Yeah.
shit.
Well, I mean, it was only like a couple. It was a couple of cars that was on like the far side. Like you had to go over like the walkway bridge where people had been like tailgating, and apparently like somebody had left their grill on and set like 4 cars on fire. Literally, we were in the game, and I'm
Yeah, Lance,
pointing
you
up,
hear
and I'm
about
like,
this?
I'm
No, I
like,
didn't
yo,
hear about
is that gray clouds like coming up by the corner of the stadium? Like, what is that? And I pointed it out to Tori. No, it's those cars on fire.
That's fucking. So
You imagine
13
coming
cars.
coming out after the game, and your shit's just been burnt to the ground
That
because
good?
somebody left their grill on.
Yeah.
That good
Reminds me of
Kingsford
something.
charcoal.
Reminds me of
God
fucking
damn.
New Year's.
Right.
You know what it was? It was a Miami Dolphin in the middle of like 12 Patriot cars, and he's like, not today.
Yeah.
I bet, yeah, that guy was walking around the whole tailgate like, all right, motherfuckers, you want to put your goddamn cornhole shit right in front of my thing? All right, I'll
Right.
show you.
Yep.
just wait one
Yeah.
as you walk into the stadium. Just wait.
And it was
Could you imagine
hot
being-
as fuck.
Could you imagine
Yeah,
coming
it
all
was
the way
so
down
hot.
from New England, going to a Dolphins game, like you're probably on vacation down here in Miami or something? You get beat by the Dolphins, walk out the stadium, and your shit
shit's
is...
on fire.
Right.
Yo, I lose my fucking...
Yeah, that would be a
Good
bad
luck
day,
getting home,
dude.
bitch.
If Kingsford was smart, they said this on the Pat McAfee show. If Kingsford Charcoal was smart, they would buy every one of those motherfuckers a brand new car.
Right?
Could you imagine the publicity, the positive pub you'd get from that shit?
Yeah, for sure.
Not to mention, Vince Wilfork is their spokesman, so it would
Uh,
fit right in.
Oh, dude,
It
how
would fit right in.
Right.
somebody's talking about that right now. So there's some board meeting
But
going on.
As like on that heat, when we went, like how you were feeling it for the Raiders, dude, I felt for the Patriots because that all navy they have to wear.
Oh, dude.
Boy, it was hot.
Yo, on
It
mushrooms
was hot,
in
and we
the
were in the
stadium.
shade.
Right.
On mushrooms in the stadium in full black, I thought I was gonna fucking die.
Yeah,
so
it was crazy.
I can imagine. It was a lot. I mean, luckily we were sitting on the Dolphin sideline, which
Always.
I actually really fuck with their stadium design
Right.
because the entire visitors sideline, bench, all that shit directly in the sun, the whole game, the whole fucking game.
Fuck the
You're not
visitors.
escaping.
Mhm.
So
Right.
would-
The whole Dolphin
Well, that-
sideline completely in the shade
and
the
then
entire
they
game.
work it to
every
their
game.
advantage. They'll wear their away jerseys all white and make you wear your home
Fuck your
jerseys
home.
all dark.
Right.
Everwood, you getting all the fucking.
So the Ra-
You're in the sun. Fuck your fans. Fuck your team.
So a couple years ago
Yeah.
when we went, it was the Raiders dressed in all fucking black. You know what I mean?
Right.
Having to be out, and it was probably low to mid 90s or something. Not as hot as it was
Right.
this weekend, but
Yeah.
still,
And
and
there's-
especially not as hot as it was. This
Yeah, they were
weekend.
literally
Shit.
holding like paper shades over players out there on the field.
Looking
for
like
the
one of
Raiders
them old
that day.
church ladies.
Yeah.
Oh,
They legit said the Patriots showed up early to try to adjust to the heat, and I don't think they did it.
There's always some like sideline reporter down there with the thermostat, like putting it inside the jersey,
Right.
and then they'll show you the temperature. It's all
They have those water
every-
systems that run through the pads.
Yeah,
They can
that shit-
run
The
Shit,
like
dude.
camel packs.
It's
No,
yeah, it's
it's
like a tubing system that runs through, but they can pump cool water through it while you're standing on the sidewalk.
What?
Yeah,
I've never
Yeah.
seen that.
That's a fucking thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is, yep.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
yeah, it's just
That's
like
I'm
an
an
in-out.
extremist fan. So.
I need that shit when we go to work, man.
I'm saying, dude, like, how much would it cost to institute that technology into our general
Yeah.
workday?
I'm sure we have the budget
Some
for
cooling
it.
tubes in it. You know what I mean?
Ryan always says he is a big proponent of having the right tool for the job, and it sounds to
That's the
me
Right,
fucking
that's the
right
right
tool,
tool.
bro.
saying.
You're hot, bitch. You can't be hot anymore.
It
But
sounds
no-
like you need a football pads. That's
Right.
what you need on the job site.
Other
That'd be good for
uncommon
when you don't fuck
things. Other uncommon things that happened this week on Sunday was just it seemed like every fucking kicker just could not get their shit together.
Yeah, I mean, in those moments, well, I mean, and on top of that, the Bears placeholder with the dabbing of the field call that pushed him out of the field.
What?
goal
I
range.
didn't even see that. There
He's
was
a-
so
he's
I,
a
I was
rookie
watching
punter. He's a rookie punter. I forget his name. Goes out and tried to towel dry the
Mhm.
spot on the field for the place
It was a
of the
penalty.
ball. Penalty, unsportsmanlike conduct, pushed him back out of
Okay,
field goal range.
I don't know about unsportsmanlike conduct, but the fuck are you doing?
Oh, shit.
There's
an actual job.
It came from a rule back when the snowplow game for Miami versus Buffalo, where Buffalo took timeout. It was 0-0 the entire game. Came down fourth quarter, a few seconds left. They go kick a field goal. So the snowplow goes out and like clears the lines, the 30-yard line. It used to do that. So what this guy do in Buffalo, he went out and then through the 30-yard line where it was, and then went around the team right where the ball was going to be placed. So where the ball was going to be placed, there was no snow. So at that point, they made it unsportsmanlike conduct for any kind of tampering with the ground where the ball would be.
I mean, I guess tampering with the ground, but like that's
It's a dumb move. Like you're a rookie punter.
It's
Like,
a dumb
what are
move,
you
don't get me
doing,
wrong.
man?
Don't make those
Right,
decisions
don't
on your
just
own.
no. If somebody tells you to do it, then go do it, and then oh well, so and so told me. But
Even
no,
they
you're
question
you're
that
a
shit.
rookie punter.
Right.
Sit down. Sit down.
What the fuck are you making decisions for?
The biggest surprise for me this week though was the Colts and the Texans tying. No way.
yeah, because
Should that have been?
down by almost like 3 scores or some shit like
Well, the
that?
Texans
came
are
back
just
to tie it?
sorry.
Right,
The
right.
Colts shouldn't even been down in the first place, but to tie a team that is just no, like it shouldn't have happened to begin with. Like it was, you have a Hall of Fame quarterback, a potential Hall of Fame running back, and Michael Pittman Jr., which is one of your players. But there's no reason for y'all to be tied and actually
Right.
end the game in a tie.
Is that one of my players?
Yeah.
Against the Texans.
Yeah, he scored. Pittman had 27 points for you.
Oh yeah, I
So
remember. He's a fucking junior.
He
That's
balled
all.
out.
Yeah, he's a junior.
Oh, shit, Landon really did his homework this
Yeah.
week. Look at you.
Hey,
He
So, I
got
mean,
a
if we're
whole
gonna-
notepad.
Like go over our lineup on everything.
Yep.
Then we'll start at the top and go Bills Rams. What did everybody see? Bills Rams. I mean, I saw Rams looked rough on offense. Damn it, they looked rough. I mean, Aaron Donald and everything on defense. Ramsey didn't show on defense, but I mean, the offense is what killed them. Their defense could have stayed in the game, but to put that kind of time on them is bad.
To answer your question, what I personally saw in that game was the future. And that future was me losing this fucking matchup this week. I started Allen Robinson at the last. So here's how
Mr. One
this
target.
here's how this bullshit
Two
goes,
targets.
right?
Was it 2?
So I had as my wide receivers, I had Devontae Adams, which he had a great game. T. Higgins, and Devontae Smith, right? I think at the flex. And I'm sitting there last second trying to figure out, who do I want to put in? Who do I want to put in? And I'm asking these guys, I'm like, yo, this Thursday night game, I don't have anybody in the Thursday night game. Should I go ahead and just throw Robinson in? What do y'all think, him versus T. Higgins and all that, since I ain't matching up with you guys this week? And they're all like, yeah, good. It's a good play. You know what I mean? Everybody thought, Cup was going to grab all the attention, was going to leave Robinson open. I mean, he's an elite wide receiver. Motherfucker got one catch for, 8 yards or
it was
11
was
yards
bad.
or
It was
something
bad.
like that?
Yeah, I got
I-
it. 1 reception, 12 yards.
One reception, 12 fucking yards. So he gets 2 points, right? Now the guy, Mike, I'm facing Mike this week. And who was Mike's first draft pick? Cooper fucking Cup, right? Balls out for like 31 fucking points. So to start Thursday night, we ain't even got to Sunday. To start Thursday night, I'm down by 29 points, and
Right.
we've each played one guy. I was like, oh no, I'm done. There's no fucking coming back from this.
Yeah.
So that's
it
what
was,
I saw.
It was a crazy game.
Now-
I mean, but
On the flip side, my last second was to start your number 2 wide receiver in Buffalo there. So,
Still got a touchdown.
Yeah.
As well.
I mean, he got a touchdown and he got me 18 points as my flex. So,
That's
yeah.
pretty good.
That's-
I mean, the Bills look good. I think the Rams made them look better than they are. Though.
Well,
I think
Right.
the Bills just had a
Like-
lot of.
Well, I think the
Bills
Rams'
had a lot of
offense made
sloppy
them look better.
turnovers. 4 turnovers. Yeah,
Right.
keep in mind.
And I'm saying the Rams were playing bad, and they had those turnovers. That's why it makes me wonder if like the Rams fluffed the Bills there. Like the Rams looked bad.
well,
Ramsey got beat all game.
Yeah,
all
over
game.
100
He
yards
was
and a
terrible.
touchdown.
He literally got teabagged by Josh Allen. He
Right.
fucked
Well-
his face,
Right.
dog. Like,
this came
The
down
disrespect.
to a team that played in the preseason, got some of the shakes out, and
Right.
had some good plays on offense. You're talking about a quarterback who didn't play at all, even through training camp, dealing with an injury. He has a new receiver that he doesn't have any time with going into the first game. He has one receiver on the field that he feels comfortable throwing into in a pressure cooker. So what happened was you get behind, your defense can only stop so long. You can't hang your defense out there to dry. I think the Rams defense played really well. But when you're out there for 39 minutes and such,
Right.
you are just not going to win the
Right.
game.
You can't
and your
expect
defense,
that of
yes.
anybody, whether
And-
they're the
But
best
at the
defense
same
in the league or
time,
not.
too, the Buffalo still
Oh,
had
I-
4
let-
turnovers. So
True, but let me
the Rams should, you know,
Right, but
Let
how
me-
do you have 4 turnovers and you only get 10 points on the
Yeah.
whole game? That's
But-
the worst part of it. You got to capitalize.
and that's the case. Like, but if you were watching really close, because I wanted the Rams. I want the Rams to win another Super Bowl, so that's just why. The throws weren't that far off, and it's not a time to panic as the Rams. Buffalo kind of got it started in the late third, and then in the fourth, I didn't like Josh Allen running. And then standing up, smiling about it, and then started to get popped really hard by that Rams
Sure.
defense. And I think Bobby Wagner on the Rams defense will be that game changer that they need, because they're early in the game, all the way through the second quarter, even into the third, they weren't running the ball effectively at all.
something else you got to think of is going into future weeks this season. Anytime Josh Allen runs, I'm suspecting every defender is going to try to take his fucking head off.
Right.
Because not only
He
is
don't
he not,
slide.
not only is he not sliding, but Bobby Wagner got Space Jam dunked on for a touchdown. Like literally, like up in the air, Michael Jordan stretching his arm out, all the whole
Right.
thing.
You have to
No one's
be
gonna
careful.
want to be that guy. Bobby Wagner got memed this week.
Well,
Jalen Ramsey got a dick in his face this week.
Right.
There's no defender wanting to be that guy next
Two
year.
and
humps.
that's, but it's really,
Two humps.
but it's really hard as put yourself in Bobby Wagner's shoes. If you don't let up on the hit, you could be flagged for a penalty, even if he doesn't
No,
get
no,
it.
I'm
Or
not-
even worse, you could be ejected if the hit is egregious enough
I'm not
now.
down in Bobby Wagner. I'm saying like going into the future. So if I'm a linebacker and I just saw that happen to Bobby Wagner, I'm like, yo,
Yeah, I'm
I'm
gonna lay him out.
never gonna consider Josh Allen down until I smack him in the
Yeah, I'm
face.
going to lay him out. That's
And that's what scares me about the dude.
when
I
you're the
already think he's
leading
gonna
rusher
fuck up.
for your team. When you're the leading rusher for your team, it's really bad. Like,
Right. Yeah, especially at the quarterback. I mean, Lamar can kind of do it, but Josh isn't usually breaking off like 60-yard runs. He's more like, oh, I'm going to get this first down no matter what, which is, admirable, but he's not. It's not like he's getting his
Right. It can
run yards
cost
in
you
big
everything,
chunks.
man. That's wild.
Yeah. Let's see. That was the first game, so that would be
One
Thursday
loss.
night.
Yep. So 31-10 Bills over Rams.
Yep.
Them,
Congratulations to Dennis on that, man. Go ahead, bro.
No. That was just the first game
Right.
that was played
On the
of the
season.
NFL.
Yeah.
Not
We
us.
were
Loss, right?
we were still right, but we were still playing all the way through Monday night
Okay.
because
Yeah.
you only had I don't even I don't know exactly who I have on your team, but like I only had one guy playing that night,
yeah,
so he got his points that night. I gotta wait until Sunday when
Monday.
the rest of my guys play to get the points from them.
And yeah, we'll go ahead and note this right now. If I say some shit that doesn't sound right, you're probably right.
Oh,
I don't know what the fuck's going on. This
Landon
my
is
first time
the
playing.
house rookie of
Yeah.
fantasy football this
Fucking
week.
rip.
He got roped in to be a body.
Yeah.
Right.
He's going to learn
He's-
on the fly.
Yep.
He's
Right.
Yeah.
So all right,
We're gonna go Eagles-Lions. Eagles ended up winning 38-35.
You know what I'm saying? Eagles are going to be a sleeper in the NFC. I see that they're going to win the division. I just with what they've done this past offseason by bringing in AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts. Yeah, you know he's not going to be that passing quarterback. He is more of the mobile quarterback. Between him, Miles Sanders, the Eagles are good.
I think they're good. I think Hurts is their linchpin. That's what I think. I think he is the ceiling on that team because I don't think he's the passer to get it done when it needs to be passed. That's what I think.
He may be the linchpin, but their Achilles heel is their defense. You allowed the Lions, you had beaten them down, and you allowed the Lions to come back and score multiple points and get within 3 points. And they were driving.
Yeah.
And I do think the Eagles probably have the best chance in that division of winning the division, but let's also remember what division we're talking about here. So being the best in that division is kind of like being the fastest kid in a wheelchair. You know what I mean? It's like, well, yeah, but you're not going to win a track meet. You know what I mean? Like, it's ain't in the cards for you.
But I will say,
I could be wrong, but I got to see more for him before I really start.
Sure. I mean, you're literally talking no passing touchdowns, but 4 rushing touchdowns. 4 different people ran the ball.
Any other highlight games people want to mention?
I know Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. Great game.
But I think that's the best you'll see the Steelers look all year because
they
just
lost
you have to
TJ
keep in
Watt.
mind,
Yeah.
The Bengals long snapper is injured, so they had the number 2 tight end doing the long, doing the extra point. Yeah, that's why they.
That's one of those.
That's why Huber missed like 2 field goals at the end of the game. Is because they don't have their starting long snapper. They have second string tight end Wilson coming in and.
Well, if they should have just drop kicked it.
See, all I really saw from that game was Joe Burrow getting 4 picks?
3.
3 picks.
3 picks and a pick. 3 picks. One of them's a pick 6.
And wasn't there like a fumble
No,
or
it's
something?
4.
Along?
It was
I was
4
gonna say it was
picks.
4.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
because
what
one
I
of them
checked.
was a sack, and the dude grabbed it before he hit the ground.
33 of 53 for 338 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions.
I mean, when you play a full overtime period, also that's gonna pad the stats for sure.
Yeah.
What I thought was impressive was just the fact that he was able to get them back to take it to overtime.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you got 4 picks and all that, but you also showed how much of a badass you are by overcoming that and still giving your team a chance to win.
And Joe Burrow
And then
came
T.
in.
Higgins went out in the second quarter. You know what I mean? He had 2 catches or something. Bam, concussion. So minus your number 2 wide receiver, and you still can't Joe Burrow's a bad motherfucker, man.
Oh,
I gotta
for sure.
give that to him.
Yeah, they say he ain't taking this loss too easy right now either.
Oh, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
Especially getting everybody back into it like that, and then over a fucking missed field. You won the game and then still lost the game.
Right.
That is the craziest shit.
I mean, we touched on Dolphins Patriots earlier. It was an interesting game.
The only clip I saw from that was the underthrow by Tua to Tyreek.
Right.
The one that went viral.
I think that was the first pass of the game, if I'm not mistaken, right?
It may have been.
It looked like maybe it slipped out his hand a little bit, like he did.
Right,
I
and
think
it's
it was
just-
a high snap.
You don't make it to the NFL if that's the best you got. So something has to happen.
And that's all that was. But I mean, right after that, multiple passes, ran the ball a bit. They got him, hands on the ball early on, everything like that. He did what he was supposed to do to, kind of open up the field.
Yeah.
They used Jalen Waddle. He went for it on 4th and 7 from the 40.
Damn.
Hit Waddle with a pass for a touchdown.
Sick.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was an interesting game. They strip sacked Mac Jones for a touchdown. That was the first touchdown of the game was strip sacking him and into the end zone. So, it was a really interesting game. Javon Holland got a pick,
And
I think they're going to look good, man.
After that,
Good start.
the Saints Falcons game,
Mhm.
that was a nail biter.
Yeah, well,
27-26.
Those are your motherfuckers. This
Yeah.
Louisiana gumbo ass motherfucker does not know what's going on with the Saints. Ain't that some shit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ooh.
it is what it is, bro. I'm a college football man,
I mean, basically, it was a real.
Falcons
Did it
were
stay
up by
close the whole
12,
time,
14
or-
points.
Yeah.
And within the last 10 minutes of the game, the Saints came back and won
Yeah.
by a point.
Jameis Winston over there doing the I'm eating a W, I'm eating a W. Like
He
what?
ate a W this week.
Apparently so. Who was it? Demario Davis or whatever that was. Doing the whole pep talk and all that before the game, and Jameis is in the background like ad-libbing everything he fucking says, like, yeah, we gotta go out there, beat these motherfuckers' ass, and he whoop like in the background and shit.
Everybody needs a hype man.
He's not the greatest quarterback. He will give you all the yards, all the touchdowns, but there's gonna be just as many picks.
Right.
But damn it, if I don't love this dude's personality, like I want him on my football team.
Right, that's the dude you want.
Please be my backup quarterback. You know what I mean?
He could surprise though. Last year before he got injured, he was on a pretty good tear. Picks were down, touchdowns were up, and then he got injured. So a lot of people like forget about last year where he came in and he was the starter for about 5 games before he got injured. Sure. He was having a good season.
The other thing you gotta realize about that is last year was the first year this motherfucker could actually see who he was throwing. Does anybody realize how fucking impressive you do because you have glasses?
Yeah,
you do because you have glasses. So
you do because you have glasses.
yeah,
I do because I work around all y'all and I don't have glasses.
And I'm blind as a motherfucker.
No, like, this
he saw the crab legs in Publix. Okay, so I don't want to hear it.
Well, because here's the thing. It's not just the glasses thing. It's like, yo, I figured his whole college career, early into the pros, all that, I figured he was wearing contacts if he had to wear glasses.
Sure.
Because why would you not do that?
Right.
So this means this man won a national championship, a Heisman, and was a first-round draft pick. Was he a first round? He was first round, right? Yeah. First-round draft pick. Not being able to see 25 yards down the field, but some like smudgy colors, and he's gotten to this point.
Sure.
If he got
Fucking
LASIK,
launch
this
the ball.
motherfucker might win an MVP.
Right.
God damn.
That's just instinct, man. So fuck them glasses.
It's fucking fantastic.
30 for 30.
My guy's
for
down there.
5,000 yards.
I know where he's at. I can feel it.
Blind
Yeah.
as shit too. Like, come on.
I think the other surprising game, Vikings pack.
Vikings, Packers.
God.
Aaron
Rodgers
Rodgers let
Rodgers.
me down.
God
He
damn,
let me down.
that poor guy.
They were never in the game.
No.
man. Like, they
Aaron
really
Rodgers
weren't.
didn't let you down.
Focus, huh?
His
His
receivers. let him
whole
down.
team let you down.
Yeah, but I had Aaron Rodgers starting as my fantasy. So
That ain't
he
his
let
fault.
me down.
That was your fault for drafting him because you should have known what was up when you. That was the first quarterback you picked. Right?
Well, he.
Yes and no. Pump the brakes on the Packers kind of thing. Because last year, Packers did the exact same thing. Aaron Rodgers went in through 4 picks last year as the opening.
Hold on. No.
Lost
The
to the
Packers-
Saints week 1.
The Packers weren't missing their top 4 wide receivers.
That's true. That's true.
That's what I'm saying. It's not just that the team let him down. It's like they had guys out there that's like, yo, if he won this game, there's another notch for his,
Sure.
current MVP campaign. There it is.
Yeah. It just
You know what I mean?
honestly that it never looked like they had a shot. It really doesn't. You watch the tape and
And
it
then
doesn't look
especially-
like they were ever in that game.
Deployed by Kirk Cousins. I was like,
Well, just Justin Jefferson going off.
9
man.
receptions for 184 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, that is
Dog.
fire.
And that's like, yeah, that's fucking crazy. I thought that Tiny Diggs was gonna hold out and edge out Dennis on the high points total, literally just based off his top 3.
Right.
Looking at it, it's like, God damn. And then, of course, Dennis comes back too a little, too a late, almost, little motherfucker, because 2 fucking points this motherfucker eked out at the end, just over the line to get the points total this week.
Hell yeah.
So that's who the weekly pot will be going to this week is too a little, too a late. So congratulations, Dennis. You get bragging rights for the next week.
Yep.
And then I got to face you, so
I'll get bragging rights for week 2.
don't let me beat you, motherfucker. If you brag too hard, don't let me beat you,
No,
motherfucker.
it won't.
I'm gonna fucking...
It won't. That wasn't even my best showing. I had my best receiver on the bench because I thought he wasn't going to play.
Then Raiders Chargers. It actually was a pretty decent game. Little sloppy in the first half. Obviously, Derek Carr threw threw 3 interceptions.
Chargers defense.
It's that line, dude. But granted, there was a handful of plays where he got a lot of protection and he had time to throw the ball, and it ended up being a pick or a sack or something like that. But it's kind of hard to blame the guy for being a little jumpy and trying to find something again, getting lost downfield a little bit when there's been a guy your own dude getting pushed into your face the whole fucking game.
Right.
Mac literally reached around one of our tackles, grabbed Carr, and then brought them both down. It was fucking disgusting. Other than that, Devontae Adams, amazing game. It looks like the chemistry from him and Carr picked up right where it left off. Granted, he got 16 targets, but I don't think he's going to get that many necessarily going forward. But I think they were trying to just flex that muscle in an in-game experience. I think that was more of a preseason game from Josh McDaniel's standpoint. But even still, with all that, we still came, within 5 points of winning it. So, I'm excited about my team. Honestly, the Devontae Adams play, he had Asante Samuel Jr. covering him. That double move, I don't know if any of y'all saw it.
Mm-mm.
So runs upfield, probably gets about 10, almost 15 yards downfield. Samuels is giving him a pretty decent cushion. He kind of like faked inside, then faked outside, then back inside real quick in like a frame of a video, and had Asante Samuel turned all the way around going the wrong direction for like 6 or 7 steps before you realized the dude was on the other side of the field. It's crazy. Any other big games that anybody noticed? Any wild shit?
Last night.
Oh,
Last
the
night.
Broncos Seahawks game. That
Drew
thing-
Lock revenge game.
Drew Lock didn't even play.
It was fitting that Monday night, the last game of the week, basically determined everything for a lot of people. Chris got edged out at the very end because of the kicker shit. Dennis, who's your running back? What was the name?
Williams.
Williams. Devontae Williams. Yeah, had literally just enough points to put him into the point total. So I expect the Broncos to probably do a little bit better going forward. I think.
Well, their entire offense didn't play at all
Right.
in the preseason, and by the third and fourth quarter, you could see them picking up. They're throwing the receivers down the field. They were getting in the groove. It wasn't going to be this game.
You could tell which teams had a real young roster versus a real old roster by the way they played week 1.
Sure.
Because a lot of the older guys aren't playing in the preseason and all that, and there was a lot of rust out there.
That,
Lot
and
of
then
rust
also,
out there.
like, I just think this is as good as the Seahawks are going to look all year. They played lights out. I don't think you get better than what you have on the field on week 1, but other teams will get better. So they still suck. So.
All right, so let's get into the matchups. Let's see here. What do we got? What was the first matchup? Okay, so first matchup, at least listed on mine, was Team Mike and Devontae's Inferno. That was mine. So his top 3 ballers were Patrick Mahomes with 34.9 points, Cooper Kupp 31.8, Tyreek Hill at 18. I mean, that Mahomes and Kupp basically made it to where I wasn't going to. I mean, I still came back within 5 points. It was 117 to 123 at the end of the week. But Mike's team, they had a real good fucking game. I gotta give them that. Didn't get a whole lot out of DK Metcalf. Didn't get a whole lot out of Hunter Henry, or the Bengals defense, or even the kicker. They were all pretty pedestrian performances. But I mean, Mahomes and Kupp alone was enough to really vault him over what I had going on. After that, we had Stretchy Sacks versus Tua Little, Tua Late. Now, Stretchy Sacks, that would be Landon here, got a total of 127.92. Tua Little, Tua Late with the highest point total of the week, 158.52. So, hold on, let me look here. What was the top 3 for each of you guys?
I got it right here. For Landon, it was Michael Pittman Jr., 27.1 points. Then we got Kyler Murray at 20.62 points. And, you're Swifty. You want to talk about Swifty real fast? Just
talking about a little DeAndre Swift?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of Dennis's
DeAndre
favorite
Swift.
little gadget guys.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a little research on DeAndre Swift. Obviously I had to know nothing about football. My first thought, is this dude related to Taylor Swift? All right. They say he's elusive. They say he likes angles. He says he jukes guys. There's a lot of similarities going on. I don't know. It's just what I came up with. But, Yeah,
I mean,
man.
He got you 26 points, man. Like that's a better reason
Yeah,
than
That's
most.
all those
Shit.
juking them guys, you know.
That's great.
What about Kyler Murray over there for
So,
you?
Kyler Murray, yeah, legitimately, another thing I didn't know nothing about this quarterback, but I did find out he is the shortest quarterback to literally ever play in the NFL. This looks like Cat Williams out there throwing.
I swear,
Legitimately, a 14-year-old is probably taller.
He looks like your daughter if you put on a football helmet and just started running around.
They looked bad.
What
They-
Cardinals?
Cardinals
looked
bad. The
Yeah,
Chiefs
horrible.
beat the brakes off of them.
Now, was it just the defensive aspect of it? Did the offense? look
Offense
okay,
didn't
or-
do anything.
Nothing
People are
either,
literally talking about they needed to put that study clause back in his contract.
I was about to say, okay, so over the offseason, right, Landon?
Right.
This guy gets a new contract. In the contract, it's actually written out. Now, this is unheard of. It's actually written out in the contract that he had to do 4 hours of film study per night,
Right.
which
Per week.
or per
Per
week.
week.
Oh, per week?
Per week.
Jesus.
His own film study outside of the team study.
And there was actually something I saw on Twitter where, because that was put in because literally the first game that he plays after the new Call of Duty releases in November is his worst game.
Yeah,
So-
you can actually track his performance by when the newest Call of Duty drops every year.
Like,
He falls off
Well,
a fucking cliff every year.
Because he's always playing Call of Duty, always on Twitch. So
No, I mean that definitely might have been a big part of it. I just think like 4 hours a week, like the fact that they would have to put that in the contract, I just feel like, yo, how much film were you actually watching then?
Right.
Because you hear about guys like Peyton Manning. When I say like 4 hours a night, that's what he was doing.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's you got that versus for a week.
Marcus Russell,
Right,
I mean,
right.
It
Now-
literally
Russell
reminded me of
Wilson.
that.
Now, remember, this is 4 hours after team meetings, after what you do in your day with the team. So when you're doing this stuff, like when you're talking about Peyton Manning doing 4 extra hours, this is at 6 o'clock at night, all the way to 10 or 11 at night. And as what Ray Lewis described is when they were at the Pro Bowl and that kind of stuff, and he was watching them, he just stayed there clicking and clicking and clicking. And all the players that want to talk trash and all that stuff, he said Peyton Manning was just clicking and clicking and watching and watching, and will go out and show you why he's the best rather than say it.
Right.
Putting in the work, man.
But that's kind of my problem. Like, what's that work out to per week? Because you got like say 4 or 5 hours a night before you got to hit the sack, get back up, and do it all again in the morning, right?
That's time
Roughly.
management, man.
So
If he
4 hours a week, what's that break down to over we'll call it 6 days.
Yeah,
Half an
30
hour?
minutes a day.
half an hour,
45 minutes.
that's on your own time, not
Right.
the team mandatory. You're
Right,
doing this at
but
at
if
your
You
Right.
job.
can't, you can't take an hour a night.
Motherfuckers
Right.
watch
And
TikTok
if
for
I-
45 minutes. You know,
Crack,
If I
crack
made-
open your book.
What was his new contract worth? It's over. It's like 120 something million or something like that, right? Like
He's-
somewhere in
he's-
that-
I just don't. The guaranteed is the big deal, but
regardless,
Yeah.
if we enter a contract,
His contract was 5 years, $230 million,
Fucking ridiculous.
with a $29,000 signing bonus, an average salary of $46.1 million, guaranteed money.
now,
I'm happy with this signing bonus.
$189 million.
now, if I,
Guaranteed
I'm
at
sick.
signing, 103.
Fucking sick.
if
so
I
if you
just
can't do
gave
4
you
hours of
100
film study, we got
Right.
Yeah, no shit.
right. If I have to put that in your contract,
I'm not
I,
guaranteed.
Right, I'm not
I don't
giving
even
you
know
that
if I'm
damn
giving
money.
you the
Yeah,
contract.
How old is he though? Like, is he
He's
young. He's been in
what's
the
it?
league,
His
what?
third or fourth year?
Fourth year.
Fourth
Yeah.
year? Okay, so he's a young guy. You know, maybe they
He's
need to
a
put
young
this type
guy,
of shit
but-
in there, but
He's been a
Still.
professional long enough that like
Right.
this
You
shouldn't
gotta
even
know.
be an issue.
Well, the
it shouldn't
reason
be,
the
but we're
backlash
talking
was
about
so hard-
football players, too,
The
man.
backlash was so hard they actually ended up taking it out of the contract or whatever because it looked bad for him. It looked bad
Yeah,
for the
them.
team.
Right.
well,
he's
You know,
25.
it's this. If you follow, because
He's
I
a
mean,
young guy,
the
man.
backstory with Kyler Murray is like there's other young quarterbacks that are that way. They want to have fun, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But Kyler Murray is the person that came out in the draft and was threatening to go play baseball rather than football,
Okay.
and he was making a big fuss. He has a
He was drafted in
reputation.
the
A
first round of
reputation.
the NFL draft and MLB draft.
I mean, mean, I can also.
I want to say he's the only player that's ever done that. Also,
I can see myself getting distracted with that much money. I probably wouldn't.
Dion, I believe.
That much time to watch film.
Deion Sanders
was he,
and
was
Bo
he first
Jackson.
round in both?
And I think I'm
Football,
not.
I think he was first
I think
round. But
I think it was either Bo Jackson or Dion. I think there was one other.
But I don't. No, I don't think Bo. No, Bo wasn't drafted in the first round because I think the Kansas City Royals didn't. They didn't think he. They just took a flyer on him or whatever in the later rounds because they didn't think he was going to come play baseball. They're like, yo, he's obviously going to play football. He just won a Heisman. Like, why would he not?
I know John Elway was drafted as well for both.
Well, I mean, there's been plenty of quarterbacks and all that have been drafted for both all
Yeah.
over the place.
Yeah.
But I just don't know about any that are in the first round of both. That's kind of the crazy part to me. Oh yeah, so Dennis, you had your 3 top here. You had Jonathan Taylor, which, I mean, when you drafted him, it was a pretty much no-brainer.
Right.
What was it?
Yeah.
You had number 3, right?
Yep.
Draft pick.
Mhm.
Number 3, and he's still on the board. You gotta go for him. AJ Brown was a later round pickup. I think like 4th round or
4th or
something.
5th. Yeah,
Something
I
like
didn't
that.
choose a receiver till later.
Had a great game.
Yeah.
Ended up fucking Devontae Smith. Thank God I took him out of my lineup at the last minute. Thank God. He got 0 catches, or 6 targets, 0 catches, because everything went to AJ Brown. I want to say he had something like
143, I believe, last time I checked.
Any touchdowns?
No touchdowns, just like a lot of catches.
Still though, like
because the quarterback, ran all touchdowns in himself.
oh yeah, because the Jalen Hurts thing.
Yeah.
And then the Pittsburgh defense, obviously, the funny part about your team was you had started Joe Burrow as your quarterback. And I'm sitting there watching the game, I'm watching the ticker and all that, and I'm seeing Pittsburgh's defense killing it. I'm like, is that a smart play to play the defense that your quarterback's playing against? Like, it worked out. I can't talk shit, but it was just like, whoa, because for almost the whole first half, Joe Burrow was in the negative.
Oh, he looked
points.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sitting there going like, yo, I know Dennis, wherever he's at, is fuming right now. But yeah, Pittsburgh D held out and still 22 points, man. Like that's especially after playing all of an overtime period on top of that and still having those 22 points. That's
Pick
above
sixes,
solid.
sacks, and interceptions. They just give you too many points.
Above solid. Oh yeah, we forgot to do the because we did the top 3 ballers. What were your top 3 busts? So who were the guys basically that just shit the bed this week? It was almost Joe Burrow for you. It was like
For me,
he still ended up getting 18 points, which
Yeah.
is spectacular
He
considering
was
the 4
negative
picks.
going into halftime.
Right.
I
Right.
I didn't really have a huge bust.
I
Most
can
of,
see one.
I mean, we can go with Kyle Pitts with 3.9, but
I
that's
don't think that's necessarily his fault, but
Yeah, Mariota throwing the ball at him.
But I mean, right from my kicker is 9 points. Steelers defense 22. Gabe Davis at 18.8.
honestly, yeah, you can't even pick 3 because everybody
I had-
had about at least their
Yeah.
projection or very close to it or
Yeah.
above, except for Kyle Pitts.
So no, I had pretty much solid across the board, except for Kyle Pitts. But I'm not taking Kyle Pitts out of any lineup. It's Kyle Pitts.
Right.
I
No,
am
I don't think that'll be an every game thing,
Yeah.
especially since he's easily the most dangerous weapon they have on their entire football team. And then going over to Landon's 3 busts, we got probably have to go Buccaneers defense, which is crazy because
I have nothing to say about that.
Dallas
Right.
didn't score a single touchdown.
Only team week 1 that did not score a touchdown. by
The
way.
only team, yet somehow the Buccaneers D only had. Oh no! I read that backwards. They were projected 4.9. They had 12. Never mind. I'm an idiot. Matt Gay, a little bit under projections. I know why you started him. Yeah, it's very close to home for you.
Field goal though.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean he's got a leg on him.
I
I heard a lot of Gays work out.
I don't know,
So
man, I pictured him more being as like a wide receiver, to be honest. So,
I thought you were
yeah.
going to think like a tight end.
But I mean, yeah, that's his only skill is kicking. Motherfucker, I've been kicking shit my whole life. You need to figure out some other skills, man.
honestly, I think the only real bust I think you had is C.D. Lamb. He was projected to have 17. He only walked away with 4.9.
Cowboys wide receiver.
So, what do you know about C.D. Lamb,
Yeah.
Landon?
But let me tell you something, man. Dude put on 10 pounds of muscle and grew a half inch, bro.
Wait,
Before Yeah,
Wait, he actually grew this year?
Yeah, he grew a half inch, man.
He's not done. He made it to the NFL and he's not done growing. That's what
Right.
you're saying?
That's
Get the
what-
fuck out of
That's
here.
what
That's
they're
wild.
saying, man.
Huh, are you sure his dreads just didn't get a little bit thicker?
Yeah. All I'm
Well, are they
saying-
measuring from the actual top of his head or the top of the dreads?
Yeah,
Because that's some thick ass hair, dog.
yeah,
Like,
HGH, man.
I don't know how you measure underneath that. You know what I mean?
10 pounds of muscle and a half inch taller. Yeah, that makes no fucking sense.
But yeah, Dak Prescott, their starting quarterback, went out early in the game.
Yep,
That
out for the
was my
season,
backup QB. I'm glad I didn't end up going with him. No, he's out
I
for
think 6
broken
8
thumb.
weeks.
They initially said
4
6
to
to
8
8 weeks, and then Jerry Jones just said that it's looking closer to 3 to 4 because I guess
Said he did surgery, didn't he?
yeah, but I guess the break was really clean.
Okay.
So it'll be real easy for them to mend. It wasn't a very jagged break. So
That's
hopefully
good.
they'll be back soon getting because CD Lamb's really their only. I mean, they got Michael Gallup, and he's not bad, but that is a wide receiver too, if I've ever heard of one. You know, like he's not the guy. CD is one of those dudes. I think he'll get fed pretty well.
Sure.
Yeah, that was about all y'all for Busters. Shit, I
we will
definitely
find
had
out
3.
that CeeDee Lamb is a bust. He is not a number 1. He is not a number 2. He's a gimmicky 3rd or 4th wide receiver.
Hot
When you're
takes.
thrown to that many times and you only make 2 catches, I am sorry. You can't win without Amari.
Yeah, man, quit talking shit about my flag.
We'll go ahead and
Well,
I didn't have to. He did it
CeeDee
himself.
Lamb had
Don't worry
11
about it.
targets and he only caught 2 passes.
Yeah, you too, man. Chill out.
These are facts. Like,
Fuck you.
Right off fantasy.
retroactively here, I'm gonna go back over me and Mike's busts real quick. So as far as I go, obviously Allen Robinson. Nobody saw that fucking coming. Projected about 13 points, only got 2. Let's see. T. Higgins. I mean, he got a concussion in the second quarter. You know, I don't really. You know, I feel bad for the dude. You know what I mean? But feel worse for my fantasy this week. Outside of that, everybody performed about how they expected. That you know, I almost came back because of that. And then Mike, let's see what you got here. Ramondre Stevenson out of New England. He's what's he second year running back.
I
I
believe so.
believe, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he was rookie last year.
Now, the funny thing about this is he has Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson, but chose to start Stevenson and keep Harris on his bench. He still won, but he could have got three, 4 more points
Right.
going there. Probably if I was him, I'd start Harris from now on over Stevenson until that guy starts to
I
break
don't
out. a
know.
little bit.
AJ Dillon had 20.1 points for Mike. It's probably who you should be.
No, that's his bench, dog. That's his bench. He didn't start AJ Dillon.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. You
I
should
think he- in
probably
fact, I
start
think he
AJ
just-
Dillon over Stevenson, though.
He might have picked up AJ Dillon either right before or right after all the games were
Which
played.
is still a good number 2 back.
He didn't play Matt Stafford, which also good decision. 7.8 points for Matt Stafford. It was atrocious. His actual starting quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, got 35 points. So if he would have just made that one fucking mistake, I could have won this week. Let's see. Going back to the third matchup, we got Ticks with Diggs. That's Jake. Which we're gonna have to talk about that. We have 2 teams now that can each be referred to as Diggs for short. We got Tiny Diggs and Chicks with Diggs. And this is going to get fucking confusing. But I don't know who deserves the title more. Because, all right, you got Steven, which is Tiny Diggs. He's an actual Bills fan, right?
So he deserves to have the
Hold on.
title.
And he did pick his name first. However, Jake is the one that actually has Diggs on his team. So, it's iffy. But anyway, so that was with Jake and Chris. So Jake ended up winning 122-113. Top performance for Jake was Stephon Diggs, 26.2. Jalen Hurts is running ass, 25 points, and Leonard Fournette, 15. Chris, you got, what was it, Joe Mixon at 21 points. The Miami defense that played stellar,
Yeah.
19 points. And Christian Kirk for Jacksonville, 17.7 points, which who the fuck else is Trevor Lawrence going to throw to? If you spend all that money for the guy, he better get you fucking 17
That's what I was
points.
thinking when I picked him. I'm like, he got paid as number one receiver. He's going to be fed like a number 1 receiver.
Yeah,
That was
especially
my mindset going into that
especially
day.
in Jacksonville because like we live in Jacksonville. Name me 2 other receivers that they have on their team.
Just Marvin Jones Jr. and DJ Shark's not even on the team anymore. He's with Detroit.
See,
I don't
and that
know.
sounded like you actually had looked that up at some point. I have no fucking idea who
No,
else they
I-
have on their team,
Me
dude.
and you bet.
Shit. All right, let's get into this. Who was your big bust this week, Chris?
I was gonna go with Aaron Rodgers. I'm not done with him yet, though.
Oh, obviously.
I mean,
I hope
it's just
Please be
opening
done.
week last year.
So,
Same
please
thing.
be
You
done.
lost 30-3 against the Saints against Jameis Winston. So.
Who that?
Oh shit! And then I didn't even see what Derrick Henry ended up getting the Giants and Tennessee game, so they ended up losing by a point. Oh shit! But yeah, 8.2 out of Derrick Henry.
Honestly,
Definitely
if he would've
18
gotten-
happened there.
I thought he was going to at least get a touchdown. That would have like sealed him off, but still 82 yards. I'm okay with that. But definitely want to see a touchdown or 2 out of more, at least for the rest of the season go on.
It was the way the game shaped up to be. They were playing from behind,
Ah.
and when you're doing that, it takes the running back out of the. Unless you're at 1st and 1 at your goal line, and you're going to go in and try to score. Yeah, you run, but other than that, you have to get back in the game first. A running back is there to ice the game, not pretty much win the game in this day.
Honestly, not a lot of real bust. I mean, Debo Samuel was projected to get 16.5, only got 12.6, but I
He
mean
still
that's
got
still a
52
decent.
yards. He
Yeah,
got
it's a decent
52
showing and all
yeah.
that. The one I would really worry about, the one that really fucked you, was Keenan Allen.
Well,
Because
he's
he ended up-
injured. He's not going to play Thursday night.
Right.
against the
I think he got
Chiefs.
injured second quarter.
Yeah, I think we were watching like second. Or
Like
third.
second quarter or whatever. Keenan Allen goes out the game, but he
Yeah.
was
You
He
should
was
probably
cooking.
drop him.
he was fucking cooking.
There's no way he'll live back up after that injury. You should probably drop him.
Yeah, Chris. I mean, I'll take him off your hands. If
Oh, I'm sure you will.
You don't
I'm
want
sure.
somehow Darren Waller got exactly what he was projected at 11.9. You almost never see that shit. Yeah, that's
Well,
that's about
what
it.
did Cortland Sutton?
Corbin,
Something,
Son got 11.2. He had 4 receptions for 72 yards.
Again, not bad
Another
considering
one-
he didn't get a pass till the second half.
It
Another one,
sucks,
had
though.
you had started Kareem Hunt, you would have
That's
also won the game.
exactly was about to say next. Kareem Hunt was sitting at 23 points on my bench.
Yep. Jake, let's look at your shit here, buddy. Christian McCaffrey underperformed just a little bit. He was projected 21 points, ended up getting 15.7. Not the worst showing, but as long as he doesn't get injured, I'm okay with whatever output he gets.
Yeah, the league's better with him playing than being injured.
Kamara, though, scheduled for 18.7, only got 7.6 points there. Was it New Orleans was coming back against the Falcons, or was it the other way around? Who's leading most of that game? The Atlanta versus New Orleans.
Atlanta led the most. I want to
Yeah.
say that everything
Okay,
that
that
the
would-
Saints
that
put
is-
together was
Gotta
like
keep
That would explain why.
Kamara has a rib injury that only limited him to 39 snaps against
Oh, so you got
for week
injured.
1. Yeah, so
Okay.
he was every second or third
Gotcha.
play he was in.
Yeah, so
And
they had
then
him on
Diggs goes off.
the snap count.
DJ Moore gets about half the points he was supposed to get, 14.5 to 8.
Which honestly, I thought Baker was going to target DJ more often, but
He went with that Robbie Anderson
yeah,
connection.
The
Exactly.
Saints defense was supposed to really kill it this week. Projected to get an 8.5. Only came away with 3 fantasy points. I mean, they gave up 27 points.
Yeah.
It
That's
is
how
what
you
it
do
is. Or no, wait, is it 26 points? Still, it is what it is. And then let's see, Brandon McManus ended up doing good. So obviously not a bad showing, really. Not too many busts coming across. I thought we were going to be able to get like 3 busts per game, but nah. It seems like everybody's performing pretty much what they're expected to. The last game of the deal here is Doomcoon Platoon.
yeah, man.
120 versus Tiny Diggs, who got 156. Almost took home the weekly pot this week if it wasn't for Dennis snaking it right there at the very
But
end.
he didn't. But he didn't.
So Ryan, let's go over your ballers and busters real quick, man.
I mean, baller's definitely going to be Travis Kelce, 26 points. I mean, it was part of the Chiefs Arizona.
Kelsey's
game,
a
man.
monster,
Yeah, it's
and
gonna
obviously
happen.
he's gonna be the number one target for Mahomes. He already kind of was when
Right.
Tyreek was there, so just imagine having him gone. Kelsey's
Yep.
gonna get fed like
And
a motherfucker
then
this year.
Edwards-Helaire again, Chiefs. That he had 2 receiving touchdowns. That they were moving the ball. Everybody was getting fed. That happened. You know. What I
They
mean?
do seem to have a habit of really developing good receiving running backs. Because
Sure.
that Kareem Hunt, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, shit, going all the way back to Jamal Charles. You know what I mean? Like,
Even when they
guys-
picked up
Damian
Damian
Williams.
Williams. Yeah.
Well, look at the head coach. He has a history of having those running backs, whether it be with the Eagles,
Shady.
Yep.
And then Mike Evans picked up 18 points in the Tampa Bay Dallas deal. I was hoping a bit more out of him, but
Well, we got to keep in
18
mind
points
Godwin is injured, so
Right.
he's going to get.
but yeah, that's what I was hoping that with Godwin out, that Mike was going to be what it was, and it just wasn't that game. You know what I mean? I played Brady, and he was one of my busts. 10 points. 10 points out of Brady. That's wild.
That's supposed to be the GOAT.
Right. And I figured it was going to be a better matchup. And then
Craziest part about that is you had Josh Allen sitting on the bench with
Sure.
31.48
yeah, I wasn't expecting the Rams defense to
to just fold
get,
like that.
well, I mean, not fold, take a beating because the offense wasn't staying on the field. I mean, truly, the first part of the game didn't look like it was going to go the way that it went. The Bills didn't look that good. The Rams weren't doing anything, dude, on the offensive side of the ball.
The Nick Folk, Jesus.
Yeah,
only
one point. 1 point. Right?
1 point.
Fucking,
What's that? So that'd be one extra point.
yep,
That's it.
that's it. And yeah, I mean, Josh Jacobs didn't do me any favors at running back either. 8 points.
Well, I mean, to be fair to Josh Jacobs, though, he only got 10 carries.
Well.
And it was really because we were playing from behind
Sure.
most of the game. You know, typical thing with the running backs. You play behind, you're not going to.
I was just hoping
get a good point.
having enough
for it.
receiving power that you're gonna have to account for, and that maybe we would have. But I mean,
Well, the thing
Chargers
about Josh
front
Jacobs is
ridiculous.
he's not going to get any catches. He's not going to,
Right.
he's strictly, this is our power back.
Sure.
Break off long touchdown runs either.
Mhm.
Yeah, now, I mean, he's got decent enough, so he got NFL level speed.
Sure.
But he's not going to just outrun a bunch of fucking cornerbacks for a 60-yard
No.
touchdown.
Yeah.
That's just not in the
He's,
cards.
he's this generation's Ronnie Brown, is what he is.
He'll run straight through a
Yeah.
motherfucker,
Mhm.
like real quick. But that's all you're really going to be looking at from Josh Jacobs. As far as busters, man, you didn't really have other than Nick Folk.
I mean, Brady, 10 points.
Oh yeah, Brady,
Yeah.
obviously. And then Tiny Diggs, Herbert, projected 20 points, ended up getting 23. Not
Mhm.
bad. Saquon Barkley went off, doubling his projection
Oh,
at
yeah.
33 points.
That was a game.
Etienne didn't have necessarily a bad game, but could have done better. Let's see. Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, though, with 39.4 and 28.9.
Yep.
I said it was my favorite part of the draft when they went with back-to-back picks. It's why I'm pissed off that I got pick number 6 instead of pick number 8, because that combo on your team is fucking dangerous, especially on a week like this where they both had just
Yeah, they combined
It's-
for 70 points almost.
right, like they both went all the way the fuck off. Now that being said, what the fuck with the Packers defense?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
another one. Like I'm iffy on
Yeah.
I'm iffy on starting defenses that my marquee players are going to be playing against. I feel like
Right.
you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. If one does really good, that almost always, not every time, but almost always means the other one is gonna suffer. Yeah, it ended
For
up
sure.
being projected 5.1 points. Didn't get a single point for him. Now, had he gone with another defense there, he might be the one making the money this week. But
And the Packers, they lost to Darius Smith to the Vikings, so that's one great edge that's already, not on the team anymore. Adrian Amos, their starting safety, was out too. So they have one huge key player that doesn't play on the team anymore. Another key player that's injured. It could balance off here and there, but
all right, now that Landon went home, let's start talking shit about him.
Backwards.
All right, later, man.
See ya.
later.
But yeah,
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins getting put up for fucking trade fodder this week by old Tiny Diggs.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. Talking what was it? Justin Herbert and Hopkins and Patterson
Yeah, Cordero Patterson
for my Josh Allen.
for Josh Allen. I mean, it's not the worst thing. The only problem is with Hopkins.
Yeah,
You know
5
you're
games,
not going to
yeah.
get a
Four more
point
games
from
yeah?
him
5
for
more
at
games?
least 5 more weeks.
Yeah.
So it's
I mean,
not as appetizing. Like that might be appetizing later in the season and all that, but he's
Right.
going to take up like eating a spot on your bench for 5 more weeks.
Right.
You know, it doesn't really give you a lot of flexibility, and you might end up having to drop a player that you don't want to drop simply because you want to keep Hopkins for later on in the year.
Right. Oh yeah, believe me, that's what I was thinking about earlier.
As far as bust, so he's got,
He's
obviously
got-
the Packers was a bust. T.J. Hawkinson, a little bit underperformed. Etienne, a little bit underperformed. Tucker, underperformed by 2 points. So really, it was a solid from him. Not a lot of busters. Obviously, he took second in the standings this week.
Sure.
I wouldn't say it wasn't a bust or not a bust, but reaffirming, he
Who,
has
Tucker?
he has a boom or bust team.
You talking
He's
about Tucker?
I'm talking about his overall selections and his starters and his bench. He's got really good players that are going to get you a lot of points. And then his other players, even projection 9.6 from Chris Olave, even the Packers defense, which I did say I in the first go around of this podcast that I wasn't too thrilled about that pick. 5.1 and 9.6, those are very low projections. So he's got great players, and then he has players that have lower projections. So he's got a boom or bust team. What he's really hoping, in the way it's set up from what I'm seeing, is he's hoping that his big players get big games, and 1 or 2 of these players that could have great games, or they're just going to be average. So he's average players with hope of being a great game.
Right. I mean, I feel like he's got 2 wide receivers that are
Mm-hmm.
not a lock, but almost a lock for 20 points a
Yeah,
game.
for sure.
So that he's solid there. Tight end, that's where
That's soft.
Right.
that's a little bit soft. And like you said, there are some depth issues because he has to have DeAndre Hopkins on his bench unless he wants to drop him.
Yep.
And then Justin Herbert and Saquon Barkley. I mean, you have a quarterback
Right.
and you have a solid running back.
Patterson was the only guy on his bench that had a really great game. And while you will get those from Patterson, I don't know if it's going to come often enough that you'll be able to throw that dart with any accuracy.
Right. It's a boom or bust situation.
Right. Like I feel like that's going to be very matchup dependent for him.
Which he could easily make 200 points off this lineup, or the 2 guarantees. Obviously, the 2 wide receivers are guaranteed. Justin Herbert is pretty much a lock. Saquon is a lock as long as he stays healthy. But Travis Etienne, sorry, I can't say his last name.
I think that's
To
how you
me,
pronounce it.
13.6 projection as a running back, that is too low for a running back to be a starting running back as far as that. If that was 17, 18, 19,
Yeah,
That's low.
I would say he is a bit weak at running back.
and
for
Chris,
sure,
and
yeah.
Chris Olave down here, him being behind Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry, being the number 3 receiver with those 2, that's a tough
I mean, because
sell.
Jarvis ate this week too.
Yeah.
He had
And Michael
9
Thomas did
catches
too.
for 100 and something. Like yeah, he had a good game this week.
And I had Michael Thomas on my bench at 24 points. So
Right.
like that is like it's a boomer bust. I mean, Chris Olave is going to have a game where he's going to go off.
Thomas is going to get his touches. Jarvis is going to get his touches. Kamara's going to get his touches.
And then whatever's left.
And then hold on, and then at least 5-6 touches a game, are going to go to Taysom Hill.
That is true.
So they're just in the passing game right there.
Yeah.
The rookie coming in, he's got a big hill to climb. Now, granted, he did well for his first NFL game. Don't get me wrong, and he could develop to be a guy, but
It's not helping right now.
Right, it's going to get real hard to predict what he's going to do over the course of his rookie season, unless there's going to be an injury to their wide receiver core.
So he was smart. He's going to reach out. He's trying to trade. He's trying to, kind of beef up. But with that trade, for me, you give up those 3 players, you're not going to find the players you're trying to trade, whether it be Cordell Patterson, those kind of things, in free agency. Not too many people are going to release the players you're trying to trade. Me personally, and the way I see it is, if you're going to trade, you can't give up more than 2 players
Yeah.
in this situation.
Yeah, and because you also got to think the points that you would gain. Like, all right, let's just say every week both the Josh Allen and Justin Herbert score the exact same amount of points as they did this week, and they do it for the rest of the season, right? You're
It's 12,
looking.
13 points.
I'm saying you're looking at a 12 to 13 point game. What you would have to give away to get that 12 or 13 point game is going to net you like negative 10 points.
Yeah.
It's I just don't see it as a smart trade move.
Yeah, which for me is why you can't put feelings in fantasy football. These are your players.
Right.
It don't matter who they play for, anything like that. This is your team. So, they may say Buffalo Bills on the side, but no, that's, Chris's team, Mike, Dennis's team, Ryan's team. That's their players. So that's how you have to treat it. I think the best bet for him instead of that trade is to just sit back, relax, and, probably going to lose another time or two. But when DeAndre Hopkins comes back and he can replace Chris Olave, then this lineup becomes a little more dangerous. Go find yourself a new tight end and another defense.
Yeah. Let's see here. So next week we got for the matchups, we got starting it off is me and Dennis going against each other. Mike's gonna be facing Landon, Brian's gonna be facing Jake, and Chris is gonna be facing Tiny Diggs. So right now, and obviously nobody's picked up people off the waiver wire or nothing yet. This is just going by who you have currently sitting in your starting lineup from last week. Right now, Jake has the highest point projection total with 131, and the lowest would be it's actually a tie between Ryan and Chris. So probably going to be seeing some movement going on.
No, I've
with that.
already edited my lineup, so I'm already walking into the week ready. It's just not showing on the computer yet.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure. How much does it say is the projection for me?
117.9.
Okay, well,
It must have.
Okay, Chris, I'm just going to let you know that is not good, buddy.
Yeah,
You've already set your lineup, and it's projected to be the worst in the fucking league.
Well,
This is not good.
Yeah.
My projection was about like 100 going in this week, and I've got 113.2 with Aaron Rodgers only giving me 3 points. I'm not worried about the projection. I'm worried about the player, the matchup, the team, and not touching the table while I'm talking.
There you go.
I promise. These projections by the next 2 or 3 days with trades and all that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
it's definitely going to jump.
It's going to be a big difference in a couple
It's
of
just
days.
judging by what everybody has their shit set from last week. That's what it's going to be. All right, so our next segment here is Kamish's Corner. You're going to think of a fucking intro song or some shit for that. So Kamish's Corner is a segment where Dennis is basically going to go over, or Commissioner, is basically going to go over the biggest flops, winners, and losers of fantasy in general this week. And then also give us a little bit of news on what's going on the free agent wire, trade watch, that kind of thing.
Well, we won't know too much about the waiver wire and the trades until probably tomorrow. There's been a couple of, over this past week, couple people dropped some key players, added others, some J.K. Dobbins. Someone added the Bengals defense. I did actually some moves on mine.
I'll say you were the one that got J.K. Dobbins, wasn't it?
Yeah, I got J.K.
The
Dobbins.
fucked up part about that one, so we're sitting there, I think it was Sunday night, right?
Yeah.
No, Monday night. Yeah, because you weren't home yet Sunday night. So yeah, Monday night. Fucking, we're sitting there watching the game, and I hear Dennis, like, I'm looking, trying to see, like, all right, who's already been dropped and shit like that. And the only person that's been dropped so far was J.K. Dobbins. So I was like, ooh, shit. Maybe I can snag J.K. Dobbins, use him as some trade fodder, because I know fucking Dennis was talking about how he wanted that motherfucker. All right, cool. So I go to Adam and all that, and I'm like, oh, wait, I can't really add him right now and all that without dropping Dak Prescott. And this is before he got injured and all that, before that game started. So I'm like, all right, I'll just wait until after the game and see if I can, snag him or something like that. See if nobody's paying attention. Not 15 seconds fucking later, here Dennis go, ooh. I go, what? Nothing. This motherfucker must have picked up J.K. Dobbins. Sure enough, check the next morning. Yes. This
exactly what I
motherfucker.
did.
Damn it, I should have just grabbed him.
But just let everybody know, I did throw out there to get J.K. Dobbins. I did drop Antonio Gibson. Had a really good game.
Oh, which is cool because I went ahead and tried to pick him up today. So
I mean,
hopefully I'm first on the waiver wire on that. I'd like to think I am, but I feel like me and Dennis were the only ones really active on that so far.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, we'll see tomorrow.
I like him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't have a back that's a pass catching back. So I got Dalvin Cook and Nick Chubb. Those are mostly your power guys. I mean, Cook will catch a few balls every now and then, but that's not really what they use him for primarily.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm looking at this with when I dropped him to get JK, I mean, it was just the guy's too good of a running back to be on the waiver wire. So
Right.
And Antonio Gibson, I like him, but J.K. Dobbins was on my list of people I wanted.
So what do you think was the biggest surprise, like, player boom this week? Like, what was the guy that scored a bunch of points that you're like, fucking really? This dude?
Probably the Atlanta Falcons guy Patterson. We were just talking about him because he's boom or bust, so you never really know. But they signed him to a good contract because they know what he can do. But he's just been around the league a long time, and it's hit or miss, and that's the one he'll always surprise me when he comes in rolling in with 22 or 30 points or something like that, which he'll do every now and then. But it's hard to keep him on your team when you just don't know. You can have him in the game, and he may get 1 point, no points. So that's my biggest like boom as far as what I see. Now the kickers that did score in points really were the game changers in a lot of the games that were played. Obviously with Chris, but even my kicker got me 8 points. So and that kind of stuff. So kickers played a big role, which surprised me a lot because normally the first week you get a lot of touchdowns because defenses really haven't gone against other offense other than one or two others during the preseason.
Well, that and like the first drive of every game is usually scripted.
Yeah,
the first plays. Like 5 drives of the first game are scripted. Like these guys have been spending all offseason figuring, all right, how do I want to come out the gate? So you're gonna definitely get a lot more. Well, I thought there would actually be some bigger scoring games than there actually were. It seemed everybody kind of hovered around the mid-20s.
Now, I do think on the opposite end, the biggest bust. I mean, I think I told you that is your receiver we talked about earlier. That
Allen Robinson?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest bust because coming in, especially if you're reading
Aaron Rodgers with 3 points?
Well, I mean, yours had 1 catch and was targeted twice. And the amount of, and with Aaron Rodgers, it can be explained. You have new receivers wide open, dropping passes, this kind of stuff. So that gets cleaned up a little bit. Yours, in your situation with that receiver, it's all the news that was coming out of training camp. He's doing great. He knows the playbook inside and out, all the stuff. But what people didn't realize is you're not playing with your number 1 receiver. So I'd say by like week 6, that's when, you'll start seeing him pop in fantasy football.
What do you mean not playing with your number 1 receiver?
Matthew Stafford was injured. He didn't do any training camp.
Oh, you're talking about he didn't get any work in with Allen Robinson during training camp.
Which even though Allen Robinson had
a
number
great 1 receiver, I'm like, what do you mean Cooper Kupp had a great day? Like,
I still label Allen Robinson.
Chemistry with Stafford. Already.
Well, I label Allen Robinson as a number 1 receiver. He's playing. He is a number 1. He really is. No matter where he's gone, he's been the number 1. It's been a true number 1, 1,000-yard seasons, all this kind of stuff. He's a number 1 receiver. So I'm not gonna, say, oh, he's number 2 to Cooper Kupp. No, he's a number 1 in his own right. So, but if you don't have that experience with your quarterback and that just the chemistry, especially on a new team, you can know the playbook all you want. If your quarterback doesn't feel trust in you just yet, which is what I saw in this game, it just was, I don't know, but I'm going to the person I do know.
He seemed real flustered. Like, they were getting a lot of pressure on him. I think he was just trying to look at his, like, fuck it. Hoop it down there somewhere and just chuck.
And that's what happens. Like, every quarterback gets into that shell. If they fret, whether it was last year with Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers and that kind of stuff, it didn't matter. I'm throwing it there. So it will get to that point, but it's going to be one that I think that you're going to have to sit on for a couple weeks. I would not put him on the waiver wire. I would hold on to him because if he goes on the waiver wire, somebody's going to get him.
Oh, for sure.
So, but that's all I got. That's kind of what I saw. Week 1 is just a sloppy mess. A lot of the games were trash from opening night because, I mean, it just was. The opening night game was trash. Monday night game was trash. In what universe did Geno Smith beat Russell Wilson on a regular? It doesn't happen. So
Right.
I'm hoping for next week to be a little more NFL football, not college.
Well, that about wraps it up. The only thing else that I really want to say is we're trying to get as many side bets and stuff like that going as we can. So whether it be, say me and Chris are playing this week and we have a bet, or I bet Dennis, hey, I think Darren Waller is going to have a better game than TJ
Right.
Hawkinson
Or
this
just
week.
even on a specific game. If anybody
Right.
wants to
Yeah.
call, oh, your team on my team.
Or yeah, you
Yeah,
know what
I
I mean?
got
Like,
you.
oh, it's Colts versus Cleveland. I got, Indianapolis for.
Whatever.
And that's the thing. Like, I know we already pay money into the league to, have the pot and all that at the end. Let's try to do this in a non-monetary way. So try to think of some challenge or some shit that you really don't want to do and challenge a motherfucker for that.
Or monetary, if you want to do
I
monetary.
mean, if you want to, like,
Right.
I
It's
just
got to
feel
be
like,
some way.
well, yeah, I just feel like it'd be a lot better if it's like,
Right. You don't. It doesn't have to be. If you don't want it to be, then don't.
like,
make
all
it.
right, like if I'm playing Chris or something like that, and say for whatever the Bills play the Raiders or some shit like that, be like, yo, I bet the Raiders are gonna win, and I'll bet you, whoever loses has to stand on the fucking side of the road where all the panhandlers are and all that shit, in the other team's jersey, holding up a sign that says "I suck at fantasy football," shit like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
let's get some shit like that going.
Yeah.
Shit we can film. If you guys have any ideas on shit we can do, hit us up. Get involved in this shit. Yeah, and everybody be ready to try to get in here and get an interview in and all that, like Landon's punk ass did.
Sure.
We're gonna have a good season.
We're talking to you, Steven.
Right. So, all right, guys, that's it for this time. And
On to week 2.
On to week 2.
On week 2.
Later.
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 Good shit, guys.